Okay, we're back for episode 3 of Gamify 24/7. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for downloading, and hello once again. We've got a little bit of a secret this week though, don't we guys?
Oh no. What's the secret?
So the secret is that we're actually recording this on Monday the 7th of November, which is way before the release date. And the reason we're telling you is that if anything major happens in the gaming world and we're not talking about it, it's not because we're all really stupid and not actually keeping an eye on what's happening. It's simply that I'm off on holiday for a week, so right now I'm probably sunning myself in Tenerife.
Can we blag that for every episode just to make sure we're covered?
Yes.
Yeah, just in case. So anyway, thanks again for all the feedback that we've had and all the comments and messages that we've had from people. It's all hugely appreciated. Please head to iTunes and subscribe to Gamify 24/7. You can get us on SoundCloud too. You can email us at gamify247@gmail.com. I wanted to talk to start with today about the Nintendo Classic Mini, the NES Mini, which is will be out by now. It's November 11th release date. It's preloaded with 30 games. I'm getting one now. I'm getting one as a gift. It was a leaving gift from a job I was doing. I'm very excited about it. But really, isn't it just a kind of fancy emulator that looks a bit like a NES?
Yeah, there's. I was so close to buying it, so close to purchasing it when I seen it. I was like, yes, really hyped for this. Only thing that stopped me was the fact that it's only got 30 games and you can't update it. And I was like, that's totally ruined it for me. So I've kind of held off. At the same time as well, just before they announced it, I saw some guy made a 3D model of an even smaller version that
Yeah, I
had
saw
put
that.
NFC technology into it, and it worked a way where you could get any game on it and you just use like the phone, and you would pull it over and it would scan it and you could load up any game, and it was awesome. I thought, and even 3D printed miniature cartridges, and they were so cool, man. It was so cool. They went in and everything. It was so cool.
The interesting thing about the Mini NES is the price point. They've released this at £50. Now, you're talking about a 30-something-year-old console and 30 preloaded games in there, but as you say, you can't. There's no option to expand that. There's no card slot or anything. You get the little controllers with it too, which are really cool. They've released a new wireless one, I think, as well, which you can get your hands on if you want to go the wireless route. The graphics are obviously emulated, but you've got the HDMI out too, which makes it nice and compatible with current consoles. Interesting to see, obviously, because it'll be out by now and we haven't played it just yet because we're recording this before the release date. I am very much looking forward to seeing how this is compared to, say, for example, the Wii U Virtual Console. What's the difference? Are we talking, because sometimes with emulation you can get some really poorly emulated games. I'm thinking more like the Mega Drive type ones, but often they're third party as well, which doesn't always help. Do you think this is going to, I mean, there's been a bit of hype with this one in as far as emulators go. I think it's probably just because it looks like a tiny little NES, but I think that's really the reason there's been the hype. Anton, is it going to live up to the hype for people like me and Shaun who want to revisit our youth?
To a degree. In terms of the emulation, there has been some side-by-side comparisons, and personally, and I think to a lot of people, it looks a lot better because they're doing much better color reproduction, and as well as that, they've done pixel by pixel alignment, so things look much crisper. It's not like blurry around the edges with the Wii U's emulation. In terms of whether or not it's going to be value for money, it really depends on how you look at it. To a degree, I completely agree with you, Shaun, with the terms of it not being upgradable. But if you're in the Nintendo ecosystem only, value for money, considering how much they charge for eStore games,
true.
It is an incredible bargain, because Nintendo will charge like £5 for the original Mario. So in that terms, yes. But again, if you look at its competitors, if you want to relive some classic games, and if you're like yourself, Michael, the Sega AtGames Mega Drive coming out this Christmas, that's got 60 games and a cartridge slot and 2 controllers.
All
which is
So,
Which is very cool as well. Just to run through, without going through them all, because there is 30 of them, but just a couple of the highlights of the games that are included. You've got the Castlevania games, the Donkey Kong games, Double Dragon 2, games like Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. You've got The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2's in there too, Metroid, Kirby's Adventure. There's some pretty good titles in there. Kat, I know this is like way before your time, but is there enough in there for you to go, I think I'm going to have a go?
As you say, not just because it's before my time kind of thing. I never had one. I think the nostalgia value of it is really what's going to get people there. Obviously you guys played it before and you like those games and everything. It just sounds really lame for me, but I'm just like, I'm not that interested because I don't have that sort of oh, I remember I had so much fun doing this. Whereas with the PlayStation 1 and all these games I played on the PC when I was little, sure, I would love those. And that's why I've got my Vita. I put Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and everything on that, and that's
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
So basically what we're saying, it's all about the nostalgia, and I'm fine with that.
See, I said nostalgia, not old. It's I didn't accuse anybody of being old at all.
You know what's pretty possibly really cool with it? Apart from the thing that Anton's saying that the emulation is much better, it wipes the floor with the Wii U's Virtual Console. I think what's really quite cool is, I think if you're a parent and you've got young kids, you buy that console, they didn't have a clue about console wars and all that stuff, but if you give them that, they're going to be like a little kid again growing up with something like a NES, and they're going to play those games for the first time, and you bring them up in that, they'll understand what it's all about and stuff, and they'll grow up and they'll probably appreciate that. So I think that's quite exciting if you're a parent. I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent, it'd be quite cool to give them that. You see, there you go, and see what they think about it in 30 years' time. Because I think we've all grown up with that stuff,
Interestingly, I was speaking to a friend of mine just the other day whose nephew's 8, and the friend of mine is a collector of retro consoles, and he's got particularly Sega. He's got Mega Drive, Saturn's, Master System, all the rest of it, and he set up his 8-year-old nephew with the Mega Drive. And he loves it, as in the 8-year-old loves it so much that he's getting him one for Christmas. So it just shows you that the good games are good games, and it doesn't necessarily matter whether they are, like the new Mass Effect that we talked about in the last episode, or whether they're like Kirby's Adventure. If it's a good game, it works. So I think there is a market for this, and I think it looks cool. I'm excited about it. But I think I share the reservations that really it is a kind of easy way to sell some, to sell some merchandise. I guess
the biggest downfall with it though is you can't blow into the cartridges.
I know. Where's the nostalgia in that?
That would sell.
Absolutely. Before we move on to the next section, last week we said, now we've revealed one secret that we're recording this on Monday the 7th, but the last episode we said would reveal a secret about how we record the podcast. I think we should do that because it might just paint a picture for people. So basically, you guys are all in a nice, cozy studio together. There's the 3 of you in the room, and I'm sat here 2 hours north of where you are. So you guys are in Edinburgh, I'm in Aberdeen, and we Skype each other in a dungeon. I've been locked in here for the last 7 years, only with some retro consoles to keep me company. And we record this via Skype, and then we sort the audio out afterwards. So it is a little bit kind of, there's a couple of stages to recording the podcast, and we will have some episodes where we're all together. But I just felt it was important to kind of let people know how we do this.
Yeah, I'll do a wee plug in there. We're in the SmallFryUnify studio in here enjoying ourselves, and it's nice because it's like a little game setup. I've set up like a lounge. As you say, Michael, you're like further away.
He's like the TV. Yes. We're all sat around him looking at him like, yeah.
Well, funnily enough, we'll actually show you this during like one of the videos at some stage. But the idea is to have Michael up in the big screen through the Xbox One and using Skype. But we need to get the cameras and everything sorted out. But that'd be the ultimate goal. We'll watch Michael on the TV.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like it's something like Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Personally, me, it's like when we've got the setup, it's almost like looking at a show like Frasier, where you've got the producer in the other room through a glass window.
He's got his microphone and his headphones now. We're just like sat here.
Like hello, we do.
It feels
talking.
a bit. It's a bit almost Red Dwarf, really. Like I just feel like I'm kind of ahead in a cutscene somewhere. Looking really.
This is like
sort of
Star Trek, where they used to call headquarters and we're talking to you on the console.
We're talking on the ECs on.
Yeah.
Hey, Captain.
We're all just there like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just jealous because you guys are all in the studio and I'm sat here on my own with the dog barking at me every so often. But hey, we'll work around it. It's, so that's a little secret into how we make the Gamify 24/7 podcast. And there will be times where we're all together, and obviously when we're doing events which we're looking to do and be at in the future, and also things like competitions, there will be times where we will be in other places too. But so we've shared that, and now everybody knows our secrets. So, for the second section today, I wanted to talk about party multiplayers. I feel that party multiplayers, there are never enough of them out there. The games where if you have a few people around to the house of an evening, does that still happen anymore? Or is it just us oldies? I don't know. But when people come around to the house, play games rather than online multiplayers, which are great, and I'm not dissing them at all. They're fantastic. But party multiplayers where people used to get together and play a game of Mashed, for example. Did anyone play Mashed on the PlayStation 2?
No,
we all just gonna look at each other like, what?
What is a Mash?
It was like Micro Machines, but more advanced, and it was a brilliant multiplayer game. So anyway, multiplayer games. What I wanted to do was ask you guys about any multiplayer games that maybe you've played in the past, or anything that's out now that people should go and check out. So, Shaun, you had something in mind?
Well, there's an old game that I played which was Phantasy Star Online. It's my favourite game of all time. On the Dreamcast, I loved that game. It was amazing. I put 600 hours into it. That's an older game. More recently, I don't know, the last thing I really played that was kind of multiplayer and sort of group spirited was probably Wii Bowling, that kind of stuff.
So good.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I used to play and just beat people at that. But I found that with the PlayStation VR, it's like I'm finding that's quite sociable in the sense that when I've got people around, I'm getting people to try out and stuff. That's pretty cool. So, yeah.
Anton, have you any suggestions or thoughts on?
Well, I think we can all agree the best party game is Amiibo Festival Animal Crossing, everybody's favourite. But for real, I have started uni and everybody's gamers, so I'm like, yes, come over. And personally, the Wii U is the greatest thing. I'm also a monster. So in the new Super Mario Bros, that is my favourite party game. Because what you do is, on the gamepad, you can place blocks. And what you do is you don't tell anybody, and you just sit there placing blocks, blocking people's way. They try and jump over a pit, you just place a block, you fall in it. Nobody knows any better, and you just troll them. Or 8-player Smash, and that's just insanity. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any of you have tried it, but it's an insane experience. Have you, Michael?
8 players.
8 sounds a bit.
Yeah, it's
I find
overkill.
it difficult already.
I haven't played that particular game. The Wii U is great for me for party games for sure, or for just sociable, everyone in the same room type of games. Mm-hmm. There's a game though, funnily enough, that you can download on the PlayStation 4 that I'm going to suggest, and it's Overcooked.
Yes, that game is insane.
We were
you
like,
played it.
What is it? Tell us.
Right, so Overcooked, basically you have to work together with the people in your room. There's up to 4 players, I believe, and you have to work together in order to get the orders from the kitchen out to the public. And it's a proper multiplayer, because if you don't work together, you don't progress and you don't get the 3 stars to get to the next level. I think you can play this on the Vita too. It's certainly on the PlayStation 4. It gets much harder as it goes on. In fact, some levels, you have to kind of play them 2 or 3 times just to get your head around what you're actually trying to achieve, because it'll give you things like you have to create a burger, for example, and one of you has to do the chopping, one of you has to do the cooking, one of you has to do the washing, all that kind of stuff, and it's all timed too. It's a really great multiplayer game, and I suggest, I genuinely suggest, the next time you have some friends round and you want to play something that's just a little bit fun and frantic, go and download Overcooked. I think it's like £12 on the PlayStation Store. Anton, you've played it before?
Yes, it's definitely a game that either makes or breaks friendships. It's also got multiplayer versus as well as co-op, so you can team up in teams of 2, and it's like you're both trying to get as much food out as quick as possible. But saying that, you get moments when you're just like, get the lettuce, and people aren't getting the lettuce. So you just get your inner Gordon Ramsay coming out. Well, it's convenient since we're Scottish, but it's the greatest thing. These like party games, there's a bunch of them coming out on the PS4 these days. They're coming more popular, but Overcooked's definitely right up there with the best.
I want to try that now. I love that kind of stuff.
Kat, you'll never get so angry over tomatoes, honestly.
I hate tomatoes, so you'd be surprised how angry
Oh,
I
you're
can
gonna
get about
you're gonna
tomatoes.
hate them even more when you play Overcooked. Honestly, it's like a different experience altogether. Right, we're going to move on to the retro section then, and third retro corner we've done, and this week it's Kat's choice to pick a retro game or console or something retro. What have you got, Kat?
See, I'm confused about the term retro because for me that's like retro means like before I can remember things. Because I feel, you know, when you're talking, 2002, yeah, that's like last year to me. Even though I wasn't even in high school then, I'm like, yeah, that was last year. So I decided to pick. Recently I played the last one in this series, The Longest Journey. Has anyone played The Longest Journey?
I've heard about it recently, but I've not played it, no.
Well, it's a point and click adventure game.
I
that
like
came
a
out
point
in
and click adventure.
1999. You can get it on Steam. So I've got it like on my laptop and stuff, which is really not that capable. So you really could play it on anything. Like, it's really, really cool. If you're into that if you're into really story-driven games, point and click stuff where you pick up loads of items and you know you're going to have to combine them and use them in different ways to advance the story. It's really, really cool. So it's basically about this girl, April Ryan, an art student in America. It is set kind of like in a different time in the future and stuff, but it's not crazy futuristic. It was the 90s they made this. It's about her traveling to this alternative world called Arcadia, the world of magic. We're right now in Stark, the world of science and logic. It's so cool. She goes on this big adventure. It's great. And then in like 2005 or something, Dreamfall came out, which was the continuation of the game but with a different main character. You still played as April, and another girl, Zoe, was the main character this time. You also played as like kind of a fighting character, Kian. That was so good. I loved that game. It was out on original Xbox and PC as well, so you can get that on Steam too. I loved that so much that it ended on like a cliffhanger though, and it was Funcom who were making it, and they didn't have any interest in it after that though. I don't think it sold that well. It's Red Thread, I think, games. They're like a Nordic kind of company. Yeah. And they didn't make anything of it. I didn't hear anything about it for years and years and years. I was like, what's gonna happen? How are they gonna end this series? You have to keep going. You can't leave it like that.
Seems a shame.
Oh, that's it made me. Honestly, that's what made me think of it. I was like, what are they gonna do? You have to end this. And so when I saw in 2012 a Kickstarter from Red Thread saying they were gonna make the last one, I was like, yes. So yeah, I backed that, and they've made it an episodic thing, so it's taken me like a year to do it because I have to play it because it's new. It's obviously like a new PC game. Get that on Steam and everything as well. I had to play it on my dad's gaming PC at home and like over 100 miles away. So it's just whenever I've gone home, I've been like trying to play this game as fast as I can. Like, it's really
Sorry, Dad,
choice-based.
can't talk. Games to play.
So yeah, it's the last Dreamfall Chapters is the newest one. And it's episodic. I just finished it last week when I was at home. Just did the last episode there. It's really choice-based, this one. Obviously really story-driven, point and click still though. And I cried so much. It's so embarrassing how much I cried. I was alone, thank God. But it's just because it was wrapping up and I felt like I've been a part of this for so long. I'm so involved in it, and it just got to the end. It wasn't even that sad ending or anything. It's just, I was like, it's ended, it's done.
So people want to see Kat cry, you can go to her channel and see it.
If I do like a Dreamfall Chapters playthrough, I'll just at the end and be like, what?
The point and click game and that whole genre really, the mid to late 90s was the time that it really was at its kind of height.
Yeah.
And some amazing games at that time. I remember the first time playing the first Broken Sword and just being absolutely blown away by it. And Broken Sword 2 as well, in fact. But yeah, really interesting. So it's called The Longest Journey?
The Longest Journey, yeah, that's like the series. The first one is called The Longest Journey, then you've got Longest Journey Dreamfall, then you've got Longest Journey Dreamfall Chapters.
Wait a second, they broke the sword twice. What's wrong with them?
Oh, you and your puns, Shaun. You and your puns. Okay, great. I'm going to check that out because again, it's definitely up my street. The classic point and click genre seems to have made a bit of a comeback the last couple of years, certainly with Kickstarters.
Yeah,
and
like Grim Fandango remastered, obviously as well. Really, I love it.
Also,
with LucasArts.
It's great. It's really, really well designed for mobile gaming for me as well, because it's the kind of game that you can play on a mobile device without too much of a problems as well. You know, that whole genre. So controllers trying to control any game with a mobile phone is just
Yeah,
don't get me started.
Play it on even a crappy old laptop like mine, honestly. So it's really, really good for that kind of thing. And also, and I don't want to just be like, oh, feminism suddenly out of nowhere, but great female protagonists in those games. I really, really respect it. I love it. And even with Dreamfall chapters as well, some characters are gay and lesbian, and it's great. It's great LGBT. It's just great.
Awesome. All right, I think that's us then for episode 3. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll be back next week.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.